We are headed to town with a very concerned Bailey. Boone went in for surgery this morning. He had a little growth on his eyelid that they needed to remove. And we got the call that the surgery went well and we can go get him. Now that we have the shop dried in, the name of the game is drainage. Winter is coming and it's super important that we have everything sloped properly so that when it starts raining and then snowing, we don't flood our shop. So right now we're starting with this side of the building. This is kind of where our large parking pad will be. We're hoping to get some gravel spread on this as well. Yesterday we worked on this slope. We've got 6 inches over the first 10 feet draining away from the building. Then we spread some DT and got the trailer back where it's gonna go, and now we're gonna work on this area. We want water draining away from the shop, and then I think our plan is to have that water also slope this way, and this is the back of the shop, and have water come this way, hopefully down to a rain collection system. We are still too low over here on the front of the shop, so we're using some of our fill dirt to bring this level up. The original plan was to do all of this dirt work back when we were doing our original excavation, but it got too dry and there just was not enough moisture in the soil, and it was turning to powder and blowing away. And now that we've gotten a few good storms, there's enough moisture in the soil that we should be able to get this all done.
It's been a little while since I spent any time at the controls, the excavator, but it turns out it is just like riding a bike, and I'm right back into it. I think right there we want to be about 3 inches below grade. Okay, and then right here you were 6. By the time we get down there, we want to be a foot below. I think we nailed that one.
Ooh. Ooh. Nailed it! It turns out Riley's the grading ninja.
Just eyeball close, and we're within a couple inches. So right where Courtney's standing is perfect.
Bingo!
Right over there is perfect.
But
right here is just a little bit high.
There's a hump.
We're gonna push that up this direction. I think we'll be good.
I know why every flip house we've ever bought has horrible drainage, and it's because you're so excited you're done with the building, and the last thing you want to do is to go back to the first step of excavating and grading. But it's super important that we get all this water directed away from the building. After a somewhat frustrating few hours, we've been rewarded with the proper slope.
So we have a nice slope from the building towards the middle, and also from the front to the back. So all of the water that comes off of the building is going to end up directed away from the building and then around towards the back of the building. We ended up with some leftover gravel from when we built our pad, and we're just going to spread that out over this area.
Got rocks in my shoes.
Now that the building's done, we've decided to start parking the camper inside. It means we all stay cleaner and we get some shade.
It's been a big improvement around here to have a cleaner environment to park in, but it does create one big problem, and that is that our solar panels on the roof of our camper are in the shade. The first idea was to pull them off and mount them somewhere else outside, but we do still like to travel, and having those panels on the roof is essential for that.
Luckily, Renogy makes a product that was perfect for our situation.
So we are installing 3 100-watt Eclipse folding solar panels from Renogy, and we're excited to see what they look like.
The panels just showed up, so let's go get them set up.
This is not exactly the right tool for the job, so fingers crossed that we get a clean cut. Success. I'll head inside the camper and finish up the cut from that side to try to make a nice clean hole. All right, let's go see if we're charging. $15.7 amps at about 14 volts coming into our batteries from our panels, which equates to about 220 watts of the 300 watts the panels are rated for. So in my opinion, that's really high performance out of those panels, especially given that it's early in the day and that the sun angle is not optimal yet.
And now everyone can get their afternoon sun, including Boone Dog.
It's been a long time since we covered the power system that we're using here on the property, and a lot of you have been asking. At the moment, we're able to piggyback off our camper to get everything done around the property that we're doing. So here's a little bit about how we do things. We have a complete set power system from Renogy, including 3 100 amp hour lithium batteries at 12 volts, a 3000 watt inverter charger, the 50 amp DC-DC charger with MPPT. I think this device is super cool. It accepts charge from the truck's alternator to charge our batteries when the truck is running, and it also accepts up to 600 watts of solar input. This inverter takes our 12 volt power from our batteries and creates 110 volt DC power that we're able to power any household appliances off of up to 3000 watts, which is a lot. This inverter also has a built-in charger that allows us to plug our Honda generator into our external charge port and charge up our batteries quickly. Something I like to do when hole sawing in wood to get a nice clean hole. So you always start on the one side, get your hole started, and then flip the piece over and go from the other side. That prevents the tear out at the end that's common with a hole saw. This is the lid to the bench that covers where all of our electrical system components are. And when running our inverter charger, it gets quite warm in there. So we added all these vent holes in it to allow that warm air an easier way to escape. It's also really hard to get this lid off because there's nowhere to grab your fingers, and now we have lots of places to grab it. This is an upgrade we've been wanting to do for a while, and since I've got the bench torn apart, this was a perfect time to get to it. When that inverter charger is going, it generates a lot of heat. So when we're plugged in and charging, we're simply now going to have to prop the cushion up to let a little bit of air flow out of there. Our DC-DC charger is rated for a maximum of 600 watts of solar input, which we now have. So even at full sun exposure with all of our panels in the sun, we're not gonna be maxing out the MPPT charge controller in that DC-DC charger.
If you guys have been watching our shop build series, you know that we are completely building off grid right now. These panels are gonna be amazing for supplementing power, for running all of our cordless power tools and our corded power tools.
So we're gonna now be able to plug our saws and stuff straight into the inverter on the camper and not have to fire up the generator every time we need to make a cut. That's gonna make building up here a lot more pleasant, not listening to that generator run all the time.
Just the power tools. A huge thanks to Renogy. They actually partnered with us on these panels. If you guys watched our original build series, you'll recall that we went out and we bought all of Renogy's products out of pocket. We installed them, and then we loved them so much that we reached out to Renogy about becoming a partner with them.
We're almost at 9 months now of full-time use out of our Renogy power system. We've been blown away by the performance of the system, especially at the price point. So if you are interested in setting up your own off-grid solar system in your camper or your cabin, please reach out to us, and happy to answer questions about our Renogy system.
And make sure to use the discount code AmbitionStrikes and you will get 10% off your order, and we make a little bit as well, so we really appreciate it. For now, these panels are gonna hang out right here with Boone Dog, but I think we are gonna look into maybe mounting them on the roof of our little storage trailer.
17.4 amps coming into the batteries from the new solar panels. So now that the sun has risen a little more, we're getting a whole 240 watts out of our 300 watts worth of panels. So I'm pretty excited at the performance of these panels. I think they're gonna be a great upgrade. Today we're working on building a drainage trench. Corny's in the excavator, digging the trench along the back side of the building, put it in the dump truck. Feels good to be back in the dirt. Our goal is to end up 30 inches below our grade level here at the back. That's gonna give us 1 foot of slope from the other back corner to this back corner of the shop. We've got another foot down the side. All the water that lands down on the other side of the building is directed down our drainage swale, eventually into this trench and out this way. That's gonna keep all that water away from the road and our parking area in the front of the building. Okay, so down here, there's a little bit of a hole, and this spot is perfect. Try to get this out to this guy.
There's a giant rock to your left.
Okay, this rock?
Yeah.
How giant?
I don't know, I've been chiseling away at it.
From here down is good, and from there up needs a little more.
Okay. This thing is so cool. What I think is even more crazy is how different the rocks that we're digging up are. I mean, here's a river rock, smooth, and there's like decomposed granite, like this rock that just crumbles. And then there's also like super brittle shale that breaks off in fractured brittle pieces. It's crazy. He's trying to take out the camera person. We are headed to town with a very concerned Bailey. Boone went in for surgery this morning. He had a little growth on his eyelid that they needed to remove. And we got the call that the surgery went well and we can go get him.
Successful pickup of the Boone dog.
Poor guy. He gets so disoriented after anesthesia. He's had a few foxtails out before. Hi. He's got a big old black eye. But Bailey is very relieved. Poor thing.
He's still going. The longest peas I've ever seen him take.
Okay, easy.
Can you carry him again?
Yeah.
Boone dog.
The vet told us, oh, he might not eat for 24 hours.
Thinking, yeah, right.
Always hungry.
So normally, as you know, the dogs sleep in the truck. But with Boone's giant satellite dish on, he does not fit. And without Boone in there, Bailey is not going to sleep in there because she wants to know where Boone is. She's back. Checking out Mr. Satellite.